Greetings everybody, it's Rob from the Sage Tower and we're here with some exciting Skull and Bones news. In case you missed it last night, at least in my time last night, was the latest dev live stream, the deck from Skull and Bones, talking a bit about the game, answering some questions and feedback from the community. And I'm going to go over a bit of the patch notes, well, not patch notes, but maybe talk about some future patch notes potentially, and talk about some of the things that they discussed. So let's hop on in to the discussion. But before we do, make sure to click that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel for more gaming content, more Skull and Bones content, and to help support and grow the channel. Let's hop on in. The first thing we'll talk about are pieces of 8. Now, there's a few topics to deal with here. Obviously, the big question is, are pieces of 8 going to be reset at the end of Season 1 going to Season 2? What's going to be reset, what's not? Now, they didn't actually give us a clear answer to this. They kind of tiptoed around the answer, so to speak. They were like, oh, we're only 2 or 3 weeks into the season. We have plans, but we haven't announced. They're trying to fix some things. They were a bit dodgy about some of the answers for this one. And I think part of it has to do with what I'm going to call unintended deals, which is people are selling home wages, basically, where you can pay them either silver or pay them, who knows, in-game real money maybe, to essentially pay for a large sum of pieces of 8 to shoot yourself up the leaderboard to gain rewards and have a higher rank. I think the way they do this is they essentially have someone collect coins, you come, you sink them, take their coins, and that's how they pay you, so to speak. So that's probably not what they intended for the system to do, so they may be trying to find a fix for that first. However, we did get a few interesting notes for this outside of that. In Season 2, the fleet management system is supposed to alleviate the cargo running of going to collect your pieces of 8. They're saying that that is not their intention to have you have to micromanage all these different manufacturers. Instead, you can pay for or organize a fleet of ships, collect the pieces of 8 for you. So that's coming in Season 2. That's going to be a big help with that. The other thing that they're going to do is they're going to up the manufacturing limits. Now, I think specifically for these, it's the manufacturing limits for the lower level manufacturers. They may still keep the cap at the 4,500 for the level 10 one, but I think their goal is by upping the level 2, 3, 4 ones that they won't fill up as frequently, and by doing so, you don't have to constantly go back to them. But they fill up, and then if you want to not lose out on them, you have to go collect them, but it's not worth the time. So by increasing those a bit more, it may allow them, it will give you more time to do other things. So that's what I think the plan is for pieces of 8. The last thing about these, kind of connected to the pieces of 8, is the leaderboard, which obviously, the way that the leaderboard is currently set up, the top 8 players in Diamond get the get the season cosmetics, I believe it is. What they're gonna do is they're changing that so where anybody who's in Diamond tier will get the cosmetics, I believe is what they said. So that's good, because obviously, you know, it's very, especially with all the helm waging buying and, you know, the no lifing you have to do to get to that level, it's not something that someone wants to do. So by getting at least to Diamond, you at least get some sort of reward for that. So those are the updates that we have for the pieces of 8 stuff. Next, we're going to talk about a real hot topic, PvP. Now, this is, of course, everyone's, PvP is a big topic to talk about. And we haven't gotten much for here. The two main things to talk about are Cutthroat Cargo, which they want to tweak a bit. They still haven't really figured it out how they want to do it. But their goal for this one is you won't be able to fast travel in the cutthroat cargo. But I don't think, and I think they're gonna have you maybe start at this. It says something about starting at the same time or in the same place. So I think their goal is to keep the race aspect of the cutthroat cargo, but limit people fast traveling, cutting you off kind of deal, or fast traveling to the location. Now, I'm hoping they didn't mention it, but the other thing they have to deal with this is people leaving the cutthroat cargo, healing up, and then rejoining back in fully healed and fast traveling. So they have to make sure they keep that in mind. The other thing, and this is the big thing for PvP, is they are going to implement an open PvP flag. Meaning you can essentially flag yourself for PvP and you can fight other players openly whenever you want. You can go have one-on-one duels out in the open seas. You can, just run around with your flag open if you want to sync players or have players attack you. And a lot of people have been asking for an open PvP flag. Here it is. It's coming soon. Speaking of soon, some of these changes may even come next week. We have a 1.3 patch coming next week, which is going to have a lot of these changes and a lot of quality of life upgrades they didn't tell us about, but they said was going to be based on a lot of the feedback that the community has given them. Next on the list, ships. Now, everyone obviously clamoring about large ships, galleons, man of wars. The ships have multiple deck guns, and they, again, kind of snaked around the question a little bit here, where they essentially said, yes, it's planned, it's in the works, it's coming. Definitely a thing that they plan on working on. What they are going to do for that kind of thing is they're going to add more ship upgrades, and they're going to add ship things and change the gear score system to essentially allow any ship to hit the gear scores. Because right now, basically, in endgame, you have your brigs, your snows, your sandbooks, your box, and maybe someone's in a Patagwan, maybe. But those are really the only ships you can really use once you hit game. They're gonna change it so you can use any ship that you want, be it a cutter, be it a firebrand, be it the B-Dot. If you like that look of that ship, or maybe you prefer a small ship for the quicker acceleration, but you still want a level 11 ship kind of deal, they're gonna fix that and gonna upgrade that. Not only that, they are looking at gear score. They're gonna try and fix some of the gear score stuff. As it stands right now, I think only the brig can actually get to level 12 in terms of your ship level, because of the extra furniture slot that kind of boosts up its points. And it's also, they don't like the idea of having this meta of everybody, everyone's stocked with Dardanelles guns, and there's not a lot of flexibility in weapons. It's either Dardanelles guns, maybe 1 or 2 long nines. You have the same guns, maybe a twin winch if you feel like it. You probably want people to use more weapon types. So they are going to work on that. They're also going to add some more ship cosmetics, they said. More ways to upgrade your ship, maybe even upgrade and customize your crew. These are all potential things that they're looking to do for ships, and I'm excited to see what they do. I know they even talked about the idea of a first mate change. It was mentioned, obviously everyone technically in game, you have the same first mate, Asuna, but maybe you can customize it, maybe you can get different ones. I know she's like a story NPC, but maybe in the future that can be changed. Who knows? The last thing I want to talk about on the list are the quality of life changes that are going to be coming. And there's a few of them that they're going to add and kind of tweak for us to help things get better. The first one being silver chests. That should come next week in the patch notes, which is right now, currently, if you have 20, 30 silver chests in your inventory, you gotta open them up one at a time. And it's tedious and it's annoying. Next week, can do it. You can open all 2030 at once, just like that. That's great. Also, on that same vein, they're going to allow you to sell stuff from your warehouse directly. You don't have to take it from your warehouse, put it into your cargo, then go to the vendor and sell it. You can sell it straight from your warehouse. That's also a great upgrade. The other big upgrade, the one that I've been pining for them to do, is chat. I think from what they said, barring any freak accidents, chat should come to the game next week in next week's patch notes. They hinted at it. And that's going to be big. Being able to coordinate with someone in-game, plan out plunder groups, plan out La Peste runs, Zamaharibu runs, being able to actually answer someone's call for help is a big thing. Very big thing. Speaking of call for help, the notification box, the one that pops up in the top left corner of the screen that covers 60% of all the screens that you have to look at. It just blocks all the user interface. And I know they mentioned the comments, everyone was like, well, just take it from here and just bring it down here. Problem solved. Obviously, there's a lot more to that. They mentioned like UI changes, and it touches a few other things besides just UI stuff. What they did mention was an interesting thing, was that they wanted to redo how these actually work. And what I mean by that is, maybe not only do they like call for helps or these can maybe last longer, like call for helps last longer, but also maybe they go to a different screen and you can see all of them on one screen, as opposed to popping up every 30 seconds popping up. Then you can just go there and check them, as opposed to having to constantly be reminded, oh, there's a takeover. So that could be interesting. They didn't talk about it, they didn't give us too many details. That is something that they did discuss. So they did talk quite a bit about stuff. Obviously, a lot of the answers weren't really like, home run hit, bangers, but they gave us enough. I'm hoping next week's patch helps up even more, and I'm hoping that they start to add more things here and there. Obviously, the game's in a precarious spot. It's in a very tricky position where it is right now, but I'm hoping stay the course, that they can give us enough content and enough updates to really make the game better and more enjoyable than it already is. So if you guys looked at the Deck Livestream, what other things would you guys wanting them to talk about and answer? Let me know down below. Or what other things that weren't talked about you want to speak, or things that they did speak about. Let me know. Talk about them down below. And as always, be sure to follow the channel for more gaming content. Thank you guys.